we're going to go over inequalities and problem solving. So I'm going to quickly read through this question here. The price, P in dollars, of a stock, T's in years, after 1999, don't know why they gave us a specific date. Oh, I guess so, I read the rest of the question. Can be modeled by this equation, blah. When will the price of the stock be more than, so greater than, $90? Okay, so here's our equation. I'm going to write it as the price of said stock in time is equal to 0.5 times t cubed minus 5.5 t squared plus 14t. Wonderful. We need to know, so this is when something is equal to, but we need to know when something is greater than. So we're going to replace the equal sign here with a greater than symbol. And what does it need to be greater than? It actually needs to be greater than, I need to highlight this, $90. So $90 is the price. And remember, price was represented by P, so this P bracket T, price of that said stock, is going to be replaced with the number 90. So when we extend this page, it will now be 90. And remember, we need to be greater than. Okay, so in this case, you can say 90 is less than the equation, or we could have wrote the equation on the left and then wrote greater than 90. Okay. What we are referring to is we just needed the equation to be larger than the value of 90. So just because of the order I've written this question in, I'm actually using 90 is less than, using the less than sign. But it still fulfills what the requirements of this are. So when we have that, 0.5 t cubed minus 5.5 t squared plus 14t. Okay, we're going to set this equation equal to 0. So when I bring 90 to the other side, I get 0.5 t cubed minus 5.5 t squared plus 14t minus 90. So now I need to find a factor because this is a cubic function and I need to go through the factoring of this. So I'm going to quickly find a factor. You can do a little trial and error to find out what the one of the factors of this equation would be that sets it equal to 0. I quickly did this. You might not have this luxury, but I typed the equation into decimals and I found out what the x-intercept was. Now I replaced t with x so that it actually can be graphed on a Cartesian plane, but 10. So 10 is one of the factors of this. So what does that mean? Using synthetic division, we should be able to divide this by 10. So I take our 10 value, okay, put in our coefficients, 0.5, negative 5.5, positive 14, and negative 90. I didn't need that positive. And we're going to add our values. So we bring down 0.5, multiply it by 10, and we get 5. Okay? 5 plus negative 5.5 is equal to negative 0.5. We multiply that by 10. That gives us negative 5. Negative 5 plus 14 will give us 9. Yes, that works. And we multiply that by 10. And we get 90. And our remainder is 0. Perfect. We know that's a proper factor. So the equation can now be written as 0 is less than bracket x, or t, I guess. We're using t in this case. So instead of writing x, we use t minus 10. Okay? And the rest of the equation, here's our coefficient, 0.5 t squared minus 0.5 t plus the value of 9. Okay? We can now factor this using the quadratic formula. So we plug that into the quadratic formula. I'm actually going to use the discriminant to make sure this has some x-intercepts. So remember, the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. We just need a positive value. So b squared, that's a negative 0.5 squared. That's going to give you 0.25. Subtract 4 times 0.5 times 9 is going to give us a much larger value. So we are actually going to have a negative under the bracket. That means this is not factorable. And the only factor of this equation is the value of 10. Okay, well, what is 10 representing in our equation? And actually, we can take a look on decimals. So I'm going to do a rough sketch of this. Remember that this was a cubic function at the beginning. So it's cubic and it's positive. So we know it's going from the third quadrant up to the first quadrant, so it's heading upwards, and it only has the one x-intercept, so it probably does some kind of chicane and then heads up this way. 10 being our cutoff point. So anything less than 10 is a negative value, or in other words, when we are below 90, And at 10 or greater, going this way, we are positive. In other words, we are greater than 90. So it is t years. T is the value of 10 in this case. Okay. And the year we started was 1999, if you remember from the question. Question starts in 1999. So 1999 plus 10 gives us 2009. So in the year 2009, our stock will be exactly 10, but recall that the question said greater than. So we're going to say after the start of 2009, so when t is greater than 10, then our stock, the price, p at t, will be greater than 90. That's how you could write your question out there. So at the very beginning of 2009, it's 10, and then 1 second after that, we are then greater than 90. That's the concept around